Yo, how is everyone on this evening, good brothers? Second show of the second season. So glad to see you all. Let me tell everybody who is watching with us on this evening. First, please share the show to your Facebook page. Continue to help us build our viewership. We're so grateful for what you've done over this last year. I want to introduce you to my castmates that you see before you. The winemaker man himself, author. He does a whole bunch of stuff. Glenn Murray, my man, lover of life. Robert Hazzard, the king of pecs tonight. Male, the voice of reason.
Hezzy Thompson.
And we're so glad to be with you. Tonight's show is sponsored by I Am Keisha Rose Collections. And if you've seen Keisha Rose, you would be curious about what her collections was. And then I want to waste no time in bringing in our special guest for the evening. He is actor, writer, director, producer. The collection is lip gloss and candles, just so you all don't, get it up.
Yeah, it's the I Am collection by Keisha Rose.
Okay, thank you, Glenn, for that. I appreciate that. And our special guest tonight is actor, writer, director, producer, Malcom Banks. Drop Malcom on in with us. Give it up.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was dope.
That really was, man. That really
I'm just glad Roger got it right.
Really nice.
Look, y'all be glad I got my little part right with my little 8th grade education. It was tough.
That's true. We're glad of that too.
Yeah, I had a headache trying to make sure I kept up with all of that. Well, everybody doing all right, man?
Awesome.
Doing good. Doing good.
Good.
We got some interesting things to talk about, man, and some of them I think are probably going to take a little bit of time to peel back, and I'm really excited about that. Anything on anybody's mind before we get started that you want to share with the good people? I want to say this: I have never been drunk, but last night I think I may have been drunk.
For the first time ever?
Yeah, well, I can't deny it.
For the first time this week.
Yeah, basically.
For
You waited until Friday.
Hey, look, for the first time where I really can't deny that I was probably drunk. I had to perform with the No-Tail group last night, and afterwards, I had a bout with Brown Sugar Bourbon 103, and I couldn't hold my own. And I was standing there talking to a nice couple. I told the gentleman all about the show. He Facebook friended me so he could make sure that he was gonna, get hip to the show and watch the show. So I hope he's watching. I will not say his name because I don't believe in putting people's business out there like that. He might not have supposed to be where he was. But man, we talked for about 30, 40 minutes after the show, dude, and I really needed somebody to drive me home. I was in bad shape.
So you were really messed up, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Brown Sugar Bourbon won last night, but I'm no quitter. I'm going back at it.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything on their mind they want to share?
I don't drink, so it's okay.
Oh wow, the lies already. Okay.
Is that
I don't drink brown
Pepsi?
sugar bourbon.
Oh.
Is that the impression you want to give Malcom, Glenn?
Malcom, welcome to the K. We appreciate you being here. Give us a little bit about who you are and what you do. Let our listeners know who you are.
First off, thanks for having me on the show and giving me some guys to talk to because it's COVID. I've been in the house with my wife 24/7 with the babies, so I appreciate this man time right now.
Hey, before you say that, know that even when you're not a guest, you can always check out for an hour and come hang out with us. Most of the guys that have been on with us, they are committed followers, man, and they're in the chat with us every week, rocking with us. So just tell them from 9 to 10, you got something to do.
I like that. I like how you think it. I like that. I don't think that's gonna work, but I appreciate that.
I can't guarantee that.
Hey, I was just about to say, y'all ain't met my cousin-in-law. I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been
Sounds
married
good.
before,
I like
Malcolm, so I know how that is.
Yeah, see,
I
you
feel you.
understand. I appreciate it. I will try though, for sure. But I'll probably catch y'all on the rerun. But no, I've really been working on getting my first feature film done. Seven's Law, Mel's in it. A lot of local Chicago talent is used in it. Talking about, it's really about what this show represents, about men being a community and being the soldiers that we really need to move forward in this society of America, what they present to us, but really having our own thing and defending what's ours on our own without any other anybody else chiming in, no other assistance from any other race. It's all Black men coming together and standing up for what we believe in. And that's the message that I really wanted to put out there, and that's what this film it will do.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to support you, man. We have a lot of in part because of Mel's connection to that media. We have a lot of actors and filmmakers and that kind of thing, man, that rock with us, and so we can't wait for the chance to support you, man, and do our part to spread the word with whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
By the way,
I really can't.
My role in the film was not nepotism. Like, I did not get the role because we are related. I just want to put that out there.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right, because I heard Malcolm don't even like you.
That's
pretty much. He didn't even claim you as his cousin when we asked him to be on the show. He's like, Mel who?
Who?
He was like, is he going to be on too?
We were like, well, we thought he was going to leave at the end of the first season because we was going to get his brother to replace him, but he decided to come back. So
oh, wow.
I don't know what happened. Dave was a great guest. Love Dave. I was like, yes, we got Dave. And Mel was like, oh, no, I'm just joking.
So
like,
since we are going to be real tight on our time on this evening, let's jump right in, man. I really want to peel back the apologies context that we talked about earlier in the week. For those that watch us, we don't randomly just start talking about stuff when 9 o'clock hits. We've typically kind of bounced around some subject matter and tweaked it and done some things to it to see if it is what we want to do. And so during this week we talked about apologies, and I'll be a bit transparent. It's because recently I've gotten a few apologies for behaviors past, and I always find it fascinating because you kind of don't know where to go from there, right? Like, I'm always grateful for the apology. I'm certainly grateful anytime somebody revisits the way they handled me, right? But that also doesn't mean that I'm going to turn my back on the glimpse of you that you showed me, right? So it doesn't mean that the apology means, okay, we can hit the reset button and start where we were. But it does, in a strange way, up your stock, because I think a whole lot of you that you're able to do that. So I'm curious about with you guys, man. How do you
You know what you did when you called me. You know what you did.
So I'm going to mute Mel because he triggered.
Right. So we know Mel's position on this. But I'm just curious, man, because the times it has happened to me, it's been one of those things where I was eternally grateful for, but I was like, I'm still going to leave that where it is. Right. But of course, that's early. That's before there's a relationship and all of that. If it's my wife or my relationship, I got to take that apology and take it and swallow it and keep on moving and let's get over it. But if it's early on when you're trying to get to know somebody and they show you something and they end up knowing that it's something worth apologizing for me, I usually stop it right there. Like I'm not going to continue and invest if you've already shown me this. I'm not going to do that. So Malcolm, why don't we start with you, brother? And I know your situation is a little different. You're already married. but you may have some issues like that, some experiences like that you had in the past. What's your take on that? How do you deal with the apologies thing?
You talking about like with a brand new person coming to my life?
With a brand new, yeah, not your wife. I'm not trying to get in trouble because she's gonna lean in.
I wouldn't go there and say if it was.
I've already heard Mel has already set me up,
right.
whooping I would take. So
yeah, brand new person, yeah, definitely, yeah, that's done. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a Scorpio, so I got a very short tolerance with any type of like betrayal. Or if you lying, you know what I mean? Because when I initially meet you, I'm 100% like, yo, we boys. If I met you at Mail House, we go into the bar, you get into a fight, I'm right with you until otherwise, until proven otherwise. As long as I know you with me from position of whatever, we cool. We come into a situation, you dead to me.
Boy, you are related to Mel, ain't you?
Yeah, I like that. You did.
Yeah.
That's an Aries way of thinking. I like that.
You're right.
So, so before we hear from somebody else, I just want to say that one of our loyal followers, Jamie Gill, was saying that the apology typically requires, a solid apology requires a change behavior. But in this case, really the question is, are we going to give them a chance to give us that behavior, right? Because they could just take what they learned and move on to the next thing, and you go, hey, take that lesson with you. I've learned enough. So that's something else to keep in mind. Yes, sir, Big Mel.
So the punishments should suit the crime, though, right? So, I mean, what do you mean by apologizing for what? What is the severity of the thing they're apologizing for? Like, you know what I'm saying? She ate your leftovers and you thought you had a snack and she apologized for that? Or, Malcolm said,
y'all just start dating? She ate your food?
Yeah.
No, well,
she ordered more. She started eating off your plate. You told her to get what you want, and she started eating off your plate. That's kind of a violation.
Everything was gone.
That's every woman on the planet, though, bro.
No.
I don't think I have to
get what you want.
I don't think I have to be explicit to say when you're in the preliminary stages of getting to know somebody and they do some shit and you go, that's a red flag, right? And then they, in retrospect, go, that wasn't cool. And we talking about past eating your chocolate cake. Then what do you do? Do you say, okay, well, that's cool. Like I had the two experiences I'm talking about. One was one that was very salvageable. It happened in the moment. Maybe 30 days later, they reached and said, hey, my bad. And I said, cool, I appreciate that. The other one was like 2 years old, right? So of course I'm not trying to pick that back up, but the one that's newer, it made me think, okay, so, because I don't know what their expectation is, right? Their expectation might be, okay, now that I've humbled myself and said, hey, that wasn't the right way to do this. If you still down, I'm still down. Whereas, come on.
I got a situation now with a young lady I've been friends with for years, and we had a bit of a situation that was worth apologizing from her standpoint, right? We were supposed to watch this show together, and she was at an event. She told me she was on her way home, but somebody else came. She ended up catching with friends, lost track of time, and left me outside of her house for a certain period of time, right? And so
Malcolm is like,
so here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. After that, it was a cutoff, right? It was a cutoff. This was years ago, and we've since had a conversation. I explained how I felt about it. She explained what happened and all this other stuff. And here's my take on it, right? I am not the same person that I was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Right. So if I don't want people to judge me based off of a simple error in judgment at a particular time in my life where who knows what was going on, who am I to ultimately judge that person on that incident and not at least give them a chance to reconcile? And I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to marry the girl now or anything like that, but it's like, all right, let's at least be cool again, because after that, we weren't even cool for a long time. let's at least be cool, because there was enough there for me to say, you know what, I'm interested, and whatever happened. Because I know I've messed up in times before, and that simple moment in time did not define who I am as a person. I've made bad decisions before. You know what I mean? So that's just me, though. I am a strong believer that the axe forgets, the tree remembers, right? It's usually the person that commits it that is like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. But if they acknowledge it and they're genuinely sorry, and as Jamie said, there's a change behavior behind it, then I'm at least open to the conversation. I'm not a you're dead to me person, except for a couple people in my life who know what they did when they crossed me. You know what you did.
So that makes, I guess the Aries is like a tree then, because we don't ever forget. We don't ever forget. Like, I'm still mad at my 8th grade girlfriend. We ain't gonna talk about that, because like that 1 week we dated, it was real. And then she gonna leave me like that.
He said,
okay, I'm gonna just change the subject.
Dated, it was real.
It was real. Let me just change the subject though, because I'm all right now, because it's been a while. But no, I think it is kind of the punishment fits the crime type of thing. But it's like you get older, and it's like you don't have time for that. It's like you either are with me or you're against me, as my uncle used to tell me. And he's like, there's not a lot of in between, and you can tell who's with you and you can tell who's against you, and it comes out pretty clearly. And so, you know, apologies are great, and I'm a very forgiving person. I don't know that I'm a very forgetting person, and I think that's an Aries trait. Robert, you can back me up on that.
I was just about to say something about that.
Well, here's the thing. If you're putting any effort into remembering it, then I have to wonder how sincerely you are forgiving them. Not that it's supposed to be absent from your mind, but if you're conscious of how much you're remembering it, then I would challenge to what degree you're really.
No, but it's not that, Shawn. It's that I have a limited number. There's a limited number of hours in the day. I have a limited number of friends I can deal with. There's a limited number of people in my corner. So if you're a gray area at this point, then you probably need to go. You know, it's just, you just get too old for that. I don't need to try to figure you out at some point. So if I don't know who you are, then I don't know who you are, and I ain't really trying to make an effort to figure it out at this point.
I think that that's the point that while I'm a spiritual person, I'm a forgiving person, even though I'm Aries and I need to be more aggressive, you know, and maybe not forgive.
Yeah, Robert, represent, Robert.
Right.
Don't play.
That's what I'm saying.
You know the code.
I have learned some lessons. But I think that, you know, when we talk about, you know, forgiving somebody, you know, I always look at the biblical piece of it. We all need to do works that befit repentance, right? Or, you know, forgiveness. And if we're doing that, I think we've all kind of said this already. At the beginning, you know, if they've made me sit outside the house, you know, an hour or so, and this is a new relationship, I'm going to have a problem. I'm driving home. I don't need it, you know, and I'm probably not going to, you know, follow back up with that person. Not because I got all these DMs that people are sending me right now. That might have something to do with it, but it's really not that.
Hey, Rob say, I have options. I do not have to put up with this.
Yeah, that was a subliminal message that Rob has plenty of DMs. So if you're making him wait for more than like 20 minutes, you're out of here. It's over.
I give you 25 minutes, especially if you're gorgeous. If you're gorgeous, see, we didn't talk about that, guys.
I know there's the buffer for hotness. There's the hotness.
Yeah, there's got to be some hotness going on here. I'm just saying. Yeah, we need.
There's an exception if you're hot.
Yeah. And Malcom, another chance. Hotness does grant you a degree of forgiveness.
Yes,
I will concede.
No, it doesn't for me though. Hotness don't.
Come on,
don't be crazy, man.
Hotness don't give me no.
You're lying.
Listen. Ugly girl can't do you the same way as pretty. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
ugly girl leaves you outside. You're there for 5 minutes. A pretty girl, you wait out.
So, hold on.
She got to be 30 minutes early.
Here's the difference between me and you, Glenn. I'm not going to be outside of an ugly girl's house.
Why can't you outside of an ugly girl's house? What if she a good person? Now, I ain't, you know. Just because you're ugly don't mean you ain't
Well, yeah, I know that. I know. I understand.
Okay.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
but Mel, before you talk, can we stop for a minute and get Malcolm's next date on the calendar? Can we do that? Okay, that's all. I want Malcolm back. Yeah. Okay.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
I am married, so I got to talk to my wife about that. We're gonna see.
And for the record, all of you are beautiful women. We love you.
Yeah,
all. We're flattered that you joined us, and we love you all. You're all beautiful. Thank you.
Right. I was gonna correct the behavior. Right.
We just talking about a scenario which you have to have. It's got to be the differences.
You need both sides of the story. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm saying. There has to be I have to have a level of attraction in order to be placed in the situation anyway. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I don't care hot or not. If you're not treating me with respect, you don't get a buffer because you fine.
Right.
Give a damn about the fact, because it ain't a shortage of fine women in the world.
That's true.
Right?
How long did you wait? How long did you wait?
So wait a minute. Now, how far are we talking though? Like, are we? Yeah.
Huh?
How long did you wait?
Fine.
It was 30 minutes.
She was fine. She was fine. She was fine.
She was fine.
No. It was two parts to it. Number one, I've known her forever, so this wasn't a new person that I met.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So there was history there. And number two, I was actually on a phone call. So when I noticed that I'd been on this call for a while and covered all of this material, it was like, hold on. You know who the fuck I am? Right? Like, I don't do this for anybody. I don't care if it's J-Lo. I'm not gonna be sitting outside while you out gallivanting doing whatever it is you're supposed to be doing. Honor my time because I'm gonna honor yours.
Yeah.
Period.
Respect.
I don't care who you are.
True. Now I ain't saying that your pretty girls get a pass.
Right.
I ain't saying that. What we're talking about is leniency.
Hey, you just take a minute and think about it a little longer.
That's it. She still get cut.
Right, she's still gonna get. Look, I done cut many a fine ones.
Oh yeah,
with a good conscience. But hey, so here's what I say. I totally understand and respect where Mel and some of the other guys are coming from, but I also think this. There's an old adage that says when somebody shows you who they are, you should believe them. Mm-hmm. And so, especially early on, when people are putting their best foot forward, supposedly, and people are offering their representative, supposedly, and if even your representative is giving me fractured behavior, I'm up, right? Because what you're doing in my mind is you're preparing me for the long-term occurrences of this type of shit, right? If this is something you would do, in week 1, week 2, whatever, then this is going to be a highlight or a theme for the duration of our time together, and I'm not with it. You know what I'm saying? And so I typically will go, hey, and when I say that I am sincere, that someone does a retrospection, an introspection, and goes retrospect and says, hey, that wasn't cool, that wasn't right, and they get that thing right, I'm 100% sincere in my happiness for them. I'm just typically not going to be the one that they get to prove their growth on with it.
Forgiveness is a wonderful thing, and I applaud your growth and all of that, and I forgive you. But I'm gonna leave you where you are to grow. We're gonna let your garden handle itself and grow and do all of that. I'm gonna be over here doing what I need to do.
And I'm gonna hope the dude that you benefit that with, in its fullness,
Yeah, exactly. I hope he benefits from that, and I wish you well. I don't wish anybody ill, but I'm like,
some people I wish ill. Some people I hope their kids fail their classes and don't make the sports team. You know what I'm saying?
See, man, that's just mean, man. That's just evil.
If I'm being real, there's some folks I ain't wishing no good. I can't lie. I gotta.
I'm trying not to. Y'all are evil.
Yeah, I'm trying.
No good. I ain't wishing.
I already told you.
Your car break down in the wintertime on the side of the road.
Damn.
Ain't nobody with you.
Damn, not the car break down in the winter.
Hey, Mel, and then you got to call one of the dudes you chose over me to come get you. I hope you do it.
And he ain't gonna be there.
He ain't gonna do it
because he ain't reliable.
And I'm gonna be like, I would have been there.
Well, he must.
And I'm be like, you know what you did when you crossed me.
I wanna apologize for Mel and Shawn, and their behavior does not reflect the show. and the overall spirit of the show.
Yeah.
They have some triggering incidents, as you can tell, and we're working with them, and they're getting counseling, and we're working it out, and they're going to be better as the
All I'm
season
saying
goes
is
along.
karma sometimes swings around in the form of them getting gout and having big ankles.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like
not the cankles.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes karma swings around.
You know, you said
Mel, that may be the funniest shit you've ever said to me. That was funny. No? That was funny.
You know that thought when you said something about, you know, when people show you who they are, believe them. You know, because that's just that is an example of a one-off situation. When somebody, if you've been doing good all this time, but then you mess up, does that mean they've shown you who they were?
Well, Rob, here's the deal, though. Here's the deal. And that's very fair. That's very fair, and that's very valid.
I'm triggered right now, but I just want to ask that question. I'm gonna be honest.
That statement I made earlier, let me include Robert in that statement as well. They're all going through counseling, and we're going to be better as season 2 goes along. So we thank you all for watching, and we hope you keep watching.
But Robert, check this out. I have experience with having done the forgiveness thing the first time, when it circled back around, done the forgiveness thing again, because they like Mel would say, they did what they did again.
Yeah.
And then when the third time came around and I was like, I'm not going to do that again, then they said I was holding them hostage by their past.
Yeah.
We were holding them hostage.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to decide when you're going to pull that trigger on saying, okay, I can't really gamble with that again. And my logic was, okay, I get that. I hear you. I hope that you are where you say you are. But there's not a human being I can talk to that if I give you a third shot and you dog me again, there's nobody that's not going to say, dude, that was your fault.
You're right. Well, what's the saying? First time, blame it on you. Second
Fool
time,
me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Or as me and my family say, fool me twice. Can't get fooled again. That's
what George Bush. That's what George W. Bush said.
See, and that's why I'm having that moment, Shawn. I hear you, but you know, I've been fooled in situations, and I'm going through counseling on that. But it's one of those things that you know bugs me when people, because I try to be a forgiving person, and I think I've allowed people to take advantage of it. And it just can't happen anymore. We just need to do a better job of that.
Well, no, I didn't know y'all were doing like second time forgiveness. Like I'm a first time you messed up and we good. Y'all are all second and third time.
Yeah,
okay,
this is second and third. I've been married.
No. I'm too old to be getting second chances. Life is too short. Oh, okay.
I think that's the key. So we all, everybody from Chicago here.
Yeah.
Except Glenn.
You know.
Outside.
So Glenn ain't from here. He from Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm not from here, but I've been here like 20 years, so that makes me a Chicago.
You not from here.
Well, I ain't from like 79th and Colfax Mill. No, I'm not.
It's a strong possibility that you know somebody who got murdered.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Strong possibility of that. So with that information for me, that right there let me know that time is short. I just live like that. So it's never been anything. So when people cross me, and it ain't gonna be no like little thing. They really got to do something. But when they do that, it's so easy for me to be like, yo, I ain't got time for that because time is not promised. So me wasting time trying to fix you or you trying to be better for me, that's just that's not something I'm willing to waste my time on.
Hey, Malcom, and here's the other thing that I think we haven't really given its just due is when it's early, you're a lot more hypersensitive.
Yeah.
You know, you feel
like we black men.
Yeah, you feel like, and they should be too. You feel like, okay, I am trying to see who you're going to present to me. And they should feel that same way. So then if you in that early stage present something fractured, it becomes a red flag. And you go, okay, is this normalcy for you? Because there's a quote that I've always lived by, and they say people that are on bullshit, people if bullshit is your normal, you don't know you're on bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or nobody tells you.
That's a good one.
You on bullshit.
That's so true.
Wait, say that again. Say it again.
It actually goes.
That was good.
You don't know you're on bullshit when bullshit is your norm. That's
right, and you keep repeating that BS too all the time too.
Because
that's
it's logical and fair for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you rationalized it.
Yeah,
you rationalized all your BS.
You don't see the idiocy in it. You don't see that it's your normal behavior. So you don't honor it for the BS it actually is. Because
right. And I've had that issue. I've had people come back and tell me, well, yeah, I know I screwed up 2, 3, 4 times. From now I know what I'm doing. And I'm like 2, 3, 4 times. Really? You act like I forgot the first time you did it like 15 years ago. You actually thought I forget stuff? Really?
But here's the thing. That is consistent in any behavior. If somebody is a taker, it's the same rules apply. If they don't know they're a taker, you know, and that seems normal for them. If somebody's inherently selfish, they can't recognize that and spot that as that extreme degree of selfishness because it's normal for them.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a normal issue.
Right, and the challenge becomes how open are you when somebody calls you on that shit and tries to get you to understand it. How open are you then, right?
Yep, and I'm a firm believer that you need to carry your own baggage.
Yeah. Hey,
my
Glenn,
hands are full.
I like that. Hey, Glenn, do you have the exact verbiage of the malignment?
Of the what?
The
malignment.
The who?
I have it now. The malignment. It's an English word, Glenn.
I know you be using big words because Mel last week used the Pareto principle, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is. I know the pleasure principle by Dr. Janet Jackson, but I don't know the Pareto principle. Yeah, I be using all the big words on me. Like I went to college to drop my cousin off, but like I didn't like actually go in and learn stuff. I'm like, what y'all?
He said I went to college to drop my cousin off.
Yeah, let's talk about that race question, Shawn.
No. Yeah, exactly. Glenn, I have it here. Do you want to deliver it?
No, because I don't even know what you're talking about, so I'm gonna let you deliver it.
Okay.
Sorry,
see, y'all. I have to light candles and have therapy dealing with these gentlemen on a weekly basis.
Before you met her, she was in therapy. Don't start. Don't even think about it.
He'll burning sage and cleansing the house. You know,
it is hard being the voice of reason for these guys.
That ain't sage.
All right, so I'm going to just read through this. I don't know that the verbiage is what we would have necessarily chosen, but we can tweak that as we go. But the verbiage goes like this: why is it no other race is maligned like black males? Why no other? I guess we could say, gender within a race. We're called out, written about, have movies and plays made that highlight our bad habits. There are no posts or films that specifically state there are no good white, Asian, Latino men.
Oh, okay. I remember this now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is Cortez Mack.
This is from my cousin Cortez Mack.
Right.
Cousin Cortez.
Yeah, I was trying to help you out, Glenn.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it.
Let him finish.
I had that was really it. I had a really interesting conversation with a young lady about it that I will share some of the snippets from that as we talk. But I know that I do feel that way. I feel like we are regularly and without remorse maligned, and I do think that it's hurtful because we expect it from others, but a big degree of it for us comes from our own within our own, either our own color or women that are the same color of us as we are. And then of course the trick becomes the fact that we can rarely, and I think this is a human frailty that we need to get together. We can rarely talk about an issue without trying to highlight the opposite in an attempt to get it some attention, right? So if we're talking about something that's going on with black men, I don't in that moment, I don't want to discuss that you think it happens with black women too. I'm not respecting that. I'm saying it happening with them is not the answer for us, right?
But what aboutism?
Right.
What aboutism?
So let's hash that out and then let's put the black women subject in the parking lot. Let's hash that out, close it out, pick up the black women subject and hash it out. But typically, you can't even gain any ground in the subject because you get that instant parallel, you know, about, well, this, that. And so I will say you don't hear white women maligning white men, but I have heard that there is a greater volume of that now because of Trumpism and all these ladies that rock with their husbands based on their political standings and then had to look the error of their ways, you know, in the face. And so there is a bit of that now, but for the most part, the only other race or culture, man, that I've heard kind of not advocate for their men is Latin women. I've often heard Latin women kind of, you know, dog Latin men. Is it to the degree that we get dogged? I don't know. I think that it's a whole exercise and, you know, when it comes to dogging us, but.
Well, and that's what, I mean, to Cousin Cortez's point, like, you don't see it posted. We write plays about it. We write movies about it. We write, I mean, there's like a whole narrative about it for us. Mm-hmm. And you don't see that with other cultures. And I think that was his point. And that's why I brought it up. And I thought that would be a really good point.
And I think it's fair. And I think it's so knee-jerk and programmed that even as I read through the threads, you know, I'm already seeing comments that say, you know, black men do the same thing to us, which to me is what I'm saying is part of the problem. I'm not saying that that's not valid. I'm saying that we can't raise that as it's a resolution for the subject that we're talking about. Mel, you quiet. I like when you're quiet because you're thinking. Tell me what you think.
I ain't thinking.
I like when you're quiet because I ain't talking.
I'm gonna hold off for a little bit, Shawn. Keep going. Right. Okay. Then I'm gonna light Glenn ass up.
Rob, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about it, Rob?
I'm ready.
I've had enough conversations to know that, you know, we have been on the other end of the judgment and all that kind of thing. So
you know, is Cortez already put in there that, you know, it's a business. It makes money. Tyler Perry made a lot of, you know, money talking about, you know, us in a funny way. There's jokesters out there that talk about us in a funny way. But here's what I think that we need to do. And I'm not trying to be the voice of reason. I'm just being Robert. That we need to change that narrative. And when I say change that narrative, man, it is just what we're doing right here. The brothers getting together and doing something positive. I think that if we continue to show positivity and connection, we can change that narrative in terms of what Black women think of us, what other ethnicities think of us. And as I've said before, Shawn, that we've got some amazing sisters that are behind us that are encouraging us to do good things. And guess what? When they're there pushing us along, we're able to do it. Mm-hmm. So my thought is, let's move forward. Let's kind of put this stuff to the side as it relates to the negativity of what we have been told that we can't do. Because if you look back in history, we have done some great things, from entrepreneurship back in the day, you know, raising our families, being, you know, respected men in our households. I could go on and on about that, but I just want to, hopefully I answered that question for you.
So let me ask you the group of you, and Malcom, I don't want you to. Yeah, I don't want you to lose whatever. I don't
want to skip over this though.
Yeah.
Because what I think is also lacking in our community, why, you know, this is looked at as okay, it's still a system of the Jim Crow period. It's like just the whole law of it. You know, talking about us and being okay with it and all of these things. And then there's also, on top of that, it's also us not understanding relationships, us getting into relationships thinking it's supposed to be this movie, perfect, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And truthfully, you're two individuals coming into a situation. So as two individuals, then you have to have understanding that you have to take time to learn this person's behavior, or if they're going through something, have the empathy to, like, instead of like, oh, he ain't the S word. And if he ain't that, why? Instead of just saying it, investigate, spend some time. Since you want to get to know this person, vice versa, man or woman, she ain't doing this. Investigate why she's not doing that. Those are the things that are lacking in our community for this topic of degrading black men when they can't get a job. He's not working. Can you help him with his resume? Can you? You know what I mean? Just those little things that could don't down each other, but lift each other, like you just said, Rob. Like, just lifting the little things, just little things. It ain't gotta be huge. You ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? Just like, hey, I'm with you. Let me help you with your resume. Let me help you. Build yourself. Let's build together. Building together is that's just dead. It's so dead in our community. That's what's killing us. And then the movies don't help, of course.
Right. Well, there's a blanket generalization, and that's the problem. Is everybody, you look at it and you throw a wide net across everybody, and then you publicize that net, and you perpetuate a stereotype that was started in another area other than ours, and another culture other than ours. And I think that's what the point was when Cortez put that out. It's like, you don't see any other culture taking the stereotype and then running with it and expanding on it and exploring it in a whole different way.
About it all day, and
making it an art form.
As a black man, and I like to think that I am of a particularly strong mentality, but as a black man, it still is exhausting.
Right. And I get, and women are going to come back.
And all day, every day.
Right. And I get that.
Posting black man ain't, black man ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to put a certain fiber to dismiss that and know, well, they're not talking about me, or
no, and you're right, Shawn, and you're right, and I get that there's some men that are trash. I'm sorry, yes, they are. Yeah. That's across all races. There's some men that are garbage,
but you want me to advocate for you and see you a certain way behind that. It's fine to express yourself, but then you want me to be able to dismiss all that and rock with you when you're ready to rock.
But I would remind women that when we say something about women, what's the first thing we hear? Not all women.
Yep, not all women.
I need you to take that energy and understand that when you're taking that blanket and castigating every man, whatever that one man did to you. That it's not all men. It's not all African American men.
Come on, Mel.
I need you to see that.
Mel is trying to pray right now. Mel wants to get in. So let's go, Mel. Come on,
we don't have enough time for me to really go in depth with this, and our bloodline thinks a lot alike. Malcolm mentioned Jim Crow. I'm going to go back even further than Jim Crow. I'm going to go back to the slavery era and buck breaking. I'm going to go back to the point where black men were not only demonized but demoralized and punished severely in front of their children, in front of black women, and it scared black women to the point where they used black women to instill fear in men, right, and to control the black man. Because here's the thing: think about the black woman who's watching with her son and daughter or whoever, watching her husband get beat. They want us to be strong, but they want us to be submissive. And so now they have us on the fence because our women are telling us, don't do that. You can't be this way, whatever. And in African culture, we had respect for black women. We had respect for their opinions. And there were some things that the man would lead on, but we understood that other part of us was super important. So now we're in a country where we don't speak our native tongue. We lost all of our cultures and traditions. Where the buck breaking is happening. We're being beaten in front of our women. And now our women are scared for their children to be strong men. So now they're raising weak men on purpose, physically strong to do the work, but mentally weak. And this has happened for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, where the black woman was telling the black man what he couldn't do, what he shouldn't do, how strong he shouldn't be, all of this other stuff, for fear of them getting in trouble, them getting killed, so forth and so on. So you take all of that psychological trauma that happened for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, and then you bring it into a society where they say we are free, but all of these images are still being pumped through movies, through television shows, through music on both sides, right? The demoralizing of women, the misogynistic music, and all of that stuff. All of this stuff is happening psychologically through our entertainment, through our culture, through the things that they're pumping into our community, so much so to the point that we can't get our own shit together and figure out what we need to be doing for each other because we've been so busy being programmed by everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got enough time for me to really dive into this, right? Because
you've been preaching.
Well, then give me a streamlined answer in terms of how that has impacted today's woman. And the way
what do you mean? How has it? They're doing the same thing, telling us what we can't do and what all of our flaws are. Right? Mm-hmm. They've been doing that since slavery, because in slavery they were instilled to tell the black man what his flaws were, right? And to try to keep him from being a certain way, from being strong, from being a leader, from being all of these things, right? So now it's just the perpetuation of that on another level.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They had a flame and they put gas on it. That's what it is now.
And
so it's a generational, generational conditioning.
So I'm assuming
movies, all of those types of things have shown it as well.
So I'm assuming, Neil, that when we then look at the component of single motherhood, then that is oftentimes an environment or an atmosphere that is a lot more susceptible to that historical influence, because there is not the male presence there, if he's of sound mind, to dispute, refute, challenge those programmings, correct?
It's a balancing
system. We have an economic system that rewards women for having children and not having men in the house. That's a fact. Yeah. That there's an economic system that does that. Welfare does that. So it creates that image and it creates that attitude and it creates that mindset, which just feeds into everything that Mel talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's a lot going against us to start off with. So we have to recognize that.
But it's not us that, so, oh Lord.
Come on, Malcolm.
I know, right?
It got deep there,
right. It is.
Share something with us,
right?
Nah, it's that's the, because it's so praised to talk negatively about black men.
It really is, man.
It's just like
it's popular, Malcolm. It's popular, and you know what I'm saying. Like they used to call them hen parties. When the sisters sit around and dog their guys,
But now it's amplified because you have social media, you have access to other outlets, it's an easy way to do it now. You can write a book about how bad a man is and it'll probably sell really well.
And we feed into that.
Yeah. But
we feed into it when we mess up, and that's why when women are holding grudges and they see the things that we've done, there, as you said, Glenn, there are many books about men that have cheated, and it sells. It goes to the top of the list. But
Michael Basin wrote a whole tutorial on how to figure out how men cheat. He wrote a tutorial on what he did and how it worked, and it became a bestseller.
And things like that fascinate me because men know that women cheat too, because they've been cheated on.
They do. They do. Women cheat just as much.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, women cheat just as much if you look at the stats, but
they just cheat better.
They do. They cheat better than us, and not that I'm a cheater, but they cheat better than us as men, and that's the thing.
I'm not part of this conversation.
Right. We got you now. We got you.
But one of the things, guys, that I wanted to talk about that we can talk about that'll be important, because we are concerned about relationships, right, and positive relationships with women, and I think that's important. This is what this show is all about: guys getting together and talking about things that we like to talk about in relationships, politics, etc. But I think it's safe to say that in an upcoming show, we'll be talking about some of the things, because it is still May and Mental Health Month, we'll be talking about things related to self-care and wellness for men, brothers and things like that. So I just want to throw that out there to say that for those viewers that are concerned about what we've talked about tonight, we are going to talk about, self-care and wellness, because that is something that we champion as well. And that will come up in another episode.
Yeah, and I think this show is part of like mental health and healing, because we've talked about a lot of subjects in the last 53, 54 weeks. So we've done a lot to actually go, to really speak to that. So, which is good. I think it helped all of us, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like this is therapy, brothers. Thank you so much. I do go to therapy twice a month, but I feel like this is some additional therapy. And
I am on the search for a therapist. So, I would love to take a look at recommendations.
Let's talk about that.
You and Mel. I know Mel has some recommendations as well. And so I'm eager to get that going, man. We're at about the 6-minute mark right now. And so
can I say something about that, Shawn? When you talk about therapy, I think that we have been criticized that we don't go to therapy, but we are, as you said, interested in therapy and seeking it. And what I learned in a recent therapy session, even for myself, is that therapy is just like going to the doctor. We go to the doctor regularly. We should go for regular checkups and things like, not when something's, hurting us. We probably do that as well. But I think that we need to look at therapy as a continuous journey, and not just because, somebody's told us that we're messed up in the head. That's just my take on.
Hey man, about 20 years ago. About 20 years ago, man, maybe 30, I was driving a van. My man, Peyton Myrie, to the news. My man, Peyton, is watching tonight. And he and I used to work at a hospital called Holy Cross Hospital. And when I first started working, I was a shuttle van driver. And I had to pick up a physician who was interviewing to be on staff at the hospital. And driving back, I don't know why he chose to be this transparent, but we were having this conversation. And he was telling me that we live in the only country, or one of the only countries. This is just the way I remember the conversation. He said, if your foot is broken, they will send you to an orthopedic surgeon. If your arm is broken, they will send you to an orthopedic surgeon. If the way you think is broken, then they call you crazy and dismiss you.
Yeah.
And he said that there is nothing wrong with going to someone to help you fix the way you think and process. It doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means that there's something that needs to be repaired, and you go somewhere and get that repaired. So
absolutely,
we're such judgmental people, man. It's sad at sometimes, man. We're at about 3.5 minutes, man. So we should probably go around, man, and make sure that everybody has shared what they want to share. And I think the production team has something new in terms of the way they want to end shows and share what we're doing. So I want to give them time to do that. But Mel, is there anything you're working on right now or doing that you want to take 30, 45 seconds and share with us and tell us that's going on with you?
I'm pretty good, man. Just working on the film with my cousin, trying to get that cracking. He was very nice in his explanation of what it was. He gave y'all the PG version of what this really is. But I have 2 coaching companies. One is called the Ultimate Coaching Exchange. We're going to do our official launch the weekend of June 12th. So be looking out for that. That's a personal development and coaching company. And another coaching company that is specifically for entrepreneurs to help them either get their businesses off the ground or get their businesses to the next level. And outside of that, man, just, writing and studying, man. Study, practice, teach. That's it.
Appreciate it, man. We had about 2.5 minutes. Robert, real quick, tell me what's going on with you.
I have 2 companies. One is called the Hazzard Group. The other one is called the Hazzard Group Collective, which really is bringing about a collective amount of resources to to help small businesses with the challenges that they may be having. I also have a podcast that's going to be launching, I believe next month or July timeframe. That's actually called The Way I See It. Just a conversation with me, talking about some various things. We're also going to be, as a group, talking about the Clubhouse experience. So stay tuned for things like that. So thank you so much, Shawn.
Glenn Murray, what's going on, man?
Yeah, quickly. I don't even want to promote my business. I want to thank everybody for coming on. I see a lot of first-time people. Thank you, Gillette Palmer, Tammy Lynn Connors, Michelle Eves, Mona McElwain, people that I know personally that have come on and supported the
you
show.
got friends, Glenn? I'm impressed. You got friends?
I know. I have a few friends. Yeah, a few people know me. A few. But no, seriously, thank you guys for supporting the show. We're looking to take this to a bigger platform, and your support means everything to us. And that's on behalf of me, Rob, Mel, Shawn, Roger, and Keisha, our executive producers as well. We really appreciate you. That's all I wanted to say tonight.
I appreciate it, man. I share your sentiment. I did want to mention that for the first time in a lot of years, man, I got to share a stage last night with Kennery Kent Smith, one of our favorite regular guests, man.
That's awesome.
Friend of the program.
Yeah, it felt good, man, to be doing my thing and know that somebody that I know, come rain or shine, had my back, because that whole performance thing is a trust space for me. And so if I'm in front of a band and I don't know anything about them, I'm a little antsy. But knowing that I had a cat that I got all that history with, it just made me a bit more comfortable. And we had a real good time, man. And I was, Kennery, man, I don't know if you guys understand, because he's such a great orator and he shares his thoughts. My man is an elite bass player, man. He's an elite musician. And I hope all of you, man, get a chance to check him out, man, at some point. He is he's not to be played with, dude. He is one of the best bass players Chicago has to offer, and I'm grateful to call him a friend of mine. So, hey, man, I love all of you guys. There's nothing that you can do about it, Malcolm. I so enjoyed you. I wasn't kidding when I said I'm already looking forward to the next time we have you on. Even though you're related to Mel, we're not going to hold that against you.
Definitely, yeah. We're going to.
Hey, Shawn, you dropped that.
Hey, man,
Malcolm, we want you back on in spite of that, though. We want you back on.
We can't wait to support you, man. So, hey, everybody watching, thank you so much for tuning in and sharing with us.
Thanks, everybody.
Spread the word. Tell somebody about the show. Send the show to somebody the next time we post it. Production team, we're ready to get out of here. Till next Saturday at 9 o'clock. We'll meet you right here. It's Live from the Cave.
Camped out at home for COVID? Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.